Well, you may recall the failed missile test conducted by North Korea back on April 29th. But did it really fail? Dr. Vincent Pry, who is the Executive Director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security and is the Chief of Staff of the Congressional EMP Commission, had some interesting things to say to Mr. Aaron Klein, who has a radio show and also writes for Breitbart. He actually wrote an article today, exclusive congressional report, North Korea prepping EMP catastrophe aimed at U.S. home front. Now in this interview, Dr. Vincent Pry says, I think what they are mainly going for is the unhardened electric grid, Pry surmised. Transportation, communications, all of the other civilian critical infrastructure that we depend upon to keep our population alive. Now, Mr. Klein, in his articles, writes, Pry spotlighted recent North Korean nuclear and missile tests minimized by the news media for reported failures. When viewed through the lens of potential preparations for an EMP attack, Pry warned, the tests were actually successes. Now, Pry wrote about some of those tests in a Newsmax piece last week. He writes, I am looking at an unclassified U.S. government chart that shows a 10-kiloton warhead, the power of the Hiroshima A-bomb, detonated at an altitude of 70 kilometers, will generate an EMP field inflicting upset and damage on unprotected electronics. It goes on further, on April 30th, South Korean officials told the Korea Times and YTN TV that North Korea's test of a medium-range missile on April 29th was not a failure, as widely reported in the world press, because it was deliberately detonated at 72 kilometers altitude. 72 kilometers is the optimum burst height for a 10 KT warhead making an EMP attack. According to South Korean officials, it's believed the explosion was a test to develop a nuclear weapon different from existing ones. Japan's Tatsuro Kosaka writes in Nikkei, Pyongyang could be saying, we could launch an electromagnetic pulse EMP attack if things get really ugly. The April 29th missile launch looks suspiciously like practice for an EMP attack, Pry wrote. The missile was fired on a lofted trajectory to maximize not range, but climbing to high altitude as quickly as possible, where it was successfully fused and detonated, testing everything but an actual nuclear warhead. So be sure to check out this article. You can read the whole thing, and you can listen to the full interview, which Aaron uploaded onto SoundCloud. The interview audio is called Congressional Expert to Aaron Klein. North Korea prepping EMP catastrophe aimed at U.S. homefront. This is Caleb Hitt reporting for Battle of New Orleans Radio and TheDailyResistance.com.